When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Time for that upgrade to an HD 3D web-enabled Samsung TV. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Hi, I'm John Mallis. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Monday morning. It's on the air, off the presses. We have a guest in the house, the first-time guest here on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno. Your phone calls are important, 436-MeTV, option 11. And remember, do turn down the sound when you call in. Back in a moment. And welcome back to the program. Hope you had a great weekend watching all the football, of course. Yesterday, of course, on Fox and CBS, the AFC-NFC Championship game. Got to talk about that 49er game just for a moment. Yeah, the officiating was horrendous. It was just awful. I mean, it was just pitiful. I can't believe that those officials will keep their jobs next year with some of those bad calls that they made. But the truth of the matter is, the 49ers lost that game all on their own. It rests on their shoulders and Colin Kaepernick. They lost the game. The officials did not lose the game. Of course, the last play of the game with Kaepernick throwing to Crabtree in the corner of the end zone, and up comes Richard Sherman with the tip. Of course, he and Crabtree, I would venture to say they don't like each other too much, and this is what Crabtree, in case you missed it, had to say to the Fox reporter Aaron Andrews right after the game about the bitter rivalry between him and Michael Crabtree. Check it out.
Joe, thank you so much. Richard, let me ask you the final play. Take me through it.
Well, I'm the best corner in the game. When you try me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you're going to get. Don't you ever talk about me.
Who was talking about you?
Crabtree, don't you open your mouth about the best. Or I'm going to shut it for you real quick. LOB.
All right, and Joe, back over to you.
You know, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, Richard Sherman going off the deep end to Aaron Andrews, and how do you analyze it? I have no idea. But the bottom line is it will be Denver, of course, against Seattle in the Super Bowl, and the 49ers go home for the third consecutive year without that Super Bowl trophy. But again, as I said, they have themselves to blame. Let's get to our program. Maybe we can have our guest comment about what he saw yesterday on the air. It was just simply amazing. Of course, our guest today, it's on the air, off the presses. He has been hosting his own show right here in the Central Valley for nearly 25 years. That's a quarter of a century. He is a celebrity in his own right here in the city of Fresno. He is Gil Garcia. He has and hosts the Gil Garcia Padron Show. It airs on the Gary Cocola stations, of course, on Saturday and on Sunday. Here's a little bit of a clip, a sample of what you can see on the Gil Garcia Show Saturday and Sunday on 3 of the Gary Cocola stations.
Quisiera decir que es primera vez que está Memo Bernal en el show de Gil García Padrón, pero si recuerdas en los 90s estuviste aquí con los Tiranos del Norte en mi programa haciendo el show de Gil García Padrón. Bienvenido Memo Bernal, el saludo para nuestros televidentes, felicidades.
Muchas gracias Gil. Primero que nada un saludo para toda la gente que nos está viendo a través de tu programa ya durante más de 24 años.
Wow,
y así es, en el 90 cuando yo...
¿Cómo te la sabes?
No, pues te seguimos y siempre hemos recibido tu apoyo, tu cariño. Así como lo acabas de mencionar, ¿verdad? En el año 1990, cuando era un poquito más chamaquito, andábamos con Tiranos del Norte promocionando nuestro primer disco.
Mátame a besos.
Correctamente.
Fue el tema que tenemos aquí todavía y lo recordamos y ojalá lo encuentremos en producción. Sí lo tenemos, nos dicen,
¿sí?
Y lo vamos a estar viendo para que vean a Memo hace 20 y tantos años, ¿no?
And there he is, live in our studio right now, Gil Garcia, the longtime host of the Gil Garcia Padron Show that airs on Mundo Fox, Azteca, and Mega TV right here in the Central Valley. We'll get his take on what happened in the games yesterday and what happened specifically, of course, with Richard Sherman and the Seattle Seahawks, the interview with Aaron Andrews. But Gil will talk about his own career, too, and his shows that air on the Coca-Cola stations. You may or may not have seen him. He's been around these parts for a very long time. Your phone calls, 436-MeTV, option 11. We're back with our program in just a moment.
When you're looking for KitchenAid innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, will help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified KitchenAid appliances save you energy and money, and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
A lot of posts on Facebook, of course, and Twitter about what Richard Sherman said last night, of course, live after the game. You know, you got the adrenaline pumping right after the game. He's going crazy. I mean, it's a very emotional time immediately after the game. So that's the reaction you're going to get from a guy who has a rival across the field. His name is Michael Crabtree. They've been going at it, and of course, at the end of the game, you saw Crabtree shove him in the helmet, the face mask of the helmet. So, I mean, kind of what do you expect? I mean, they're athletes, they're emotional. Anyway, today our guest is on the air off the presses, Gil Garcia. Good to see you. How are you, Gil?
Very good. Thank you for having me, John.
Hey.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Hey, it's good to see you. So what did you think yesterday about the the Richard Sherman interview? Wasn't that funny?
It was funny. It was funny. It was a great game. It was an awesome game that the 49ers should have won.
They should have won it. And, you know, I hear all these people are blaming the officials, you know, for the bad. And yes, there were some bad calls. I saw it on Facebook. But come on, folks. The officials don't play the game. You have to overcome, right? Like Martin Luther King said, overcome. You agree with that?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's tough to play in Seattle because of all the noise, but the 49ers had a great start and they just didn't maintain it.
No, they should have won the game. Anyway, they had the opportunity. So you thought, what did you think of the Sherman interview? Was it funny or?
It was funny. It was very funny, yeah. But like the emotions got to them.
Well, it's a spontaneous reaction is what it is after the game.
That is exactly what it is, John.
So that's the way you kind of have to analyze it. And plus, there's a little bit of a history there between him and Jim Harbaugh. You know, I guess he coached Sherman a little bit at Stanford, and there's some bad blood there. And so, you know,
it goes back.
It goes
to
back.
To Stanford.
Yeah, it goes back to Stanford.
Incidents.
Yeah, the incidents in Stanford. So
exactly.
But so who are you taking in the Super Bowl?
Probably Denver.
Probably
I think Denver's
Denver,
more dominant with Manning. His great quarterback.
Yeah, he's obviously a much more mature and better quarterback than Russell Wilson of Seattle, no question.
And they'll be playing neutral in New York, so.
Yeah, it'll be close. New Jersey, by the way.
Oh, it's
hey,
okay.
Little memo to Fox. The Super Bowl's not in New York. It's in New Jersey. Hello, it's across the state line. They were promoting it yesterday like it was being held in the Big Apple. It's not. It's in New Jersey.
Well, they convinced me.
Anyway, great weekend. It was a great weekend for football. So let's talk about your show. You've been on the air now for 25 years. 35 years in radio?
Yes, started in radio back in the 70s.
Okay, where?
Actually, in Merced.
Okay.
I grew up in a small town here in Merced County in Planada.
Planada, yeah.
Yes.
I know.
And I went to Lee Grant High School and Merced College, and that's where I got started in radio about 74, 75. But it was just like an accident. I needed an extra class. I needed 3 more units for that semester, and my counselor, Fred Arcemendi, back then, Gil, why don't you take a mass communications, radio, and TV class? And, we don't have a Spanish program. It was just a 10-watt station there at Merced College, the Blue Devil Radio. And that's how I got going. And back then, you needed to have third-class license to go on the air. So I through that class, I obtained it. And then I started working professionally in a station there in Merced, KYOS, in the 70s, and then came to Fresno in 77.
How did you get hooked up with Gary Cocola? Tell us that story now.
Okay, I was in radio here in Fresno, KXCX radio, 1550 AM, and then in the 80s, we were promoting KXCX radio, so we did 30-second commercials to put on the station that Gary Cocola had then, which was Telemundo. And so we were doing these 30 seconds commercials, and Gary saw it, and he was barely coming on board with that station.
Oh.
And he had me do the voice for promos and different commercials for the stations. And there was a live segment nightly during a program that we gave away gifts, etc. So he asked me to do it, and then he said, why don't you just have your own show, the Gil Garcia Padron Show.
Tell us how it works now. Now, you actually own the program, right? It's your material. It's your program. You basically purchase the time from Gary, and then you go out and sell your own time.
Exactly.
And obviously, I mean, 25 years and running, it's working for you. You're not hurting for advertisers for your program.
No, it's always, I've always had good advertisers, and I've represented some really good companies here in Fresno and in the Valley.
So you sell your own time. How difficult is that, and how difficult has it been to try to get your own advertisers, especially, in the downtime a few years ago when the economy went in the tank?
Well, not really, because people know me for many years, over 30 years that I've lived here in Fresno, so they know about the show. So sometimes we don't even have room to put them on. So we have constantly, if someone goes out, we replace them with another sponsor.
Oh, I see. So who are some of your sponsors? Can you name?
Yeah, we have right now Sonalp Laser Vision from Visalia and Tulare, which is one of our really good sponsors. Philip Dwell-Suver's immigration attorney here in Fresno. We have a restaurant, Mexican restaurant, El Cochinito Contento restaurant in Fresno, and a jewelry store, Joyeria Marlene's, and Aldo's nightclub, and
Right.
a couple of more.
Right. I want to get into the content of your show. We're going to do that after the break. Before we go to break, though, I want to show another clip of the Gil Garcia, the Padron show that airs on Mundo Fox, Azteca, and Mega TV on the Cocola stations. Let's take a look at that, and then we'll go to break and take some of your phone calls, hopefully 436-MeTV, option 11. If you want to call in, weigh in on a subject or a topic. Back in just a moment. Here's Gil.
Créanme lo que es una experiencia incomparable visitar el restaurante Fleming's. Yo lo he visitado con mi familia, hemos sido atendidos por todo el personal, incluyendo a Tony Gómez, que es el chef socio. Es un servicio único el que ustedes ofrecen, y yo quiero hacer una invitación muy personal de parte de todos nosotros en el show de Gil García Padrón, Azteca, América y Mega TV, pues para que visiten el restaurante Fleming's.
Tenemos más de 100 vinos para escoger. Tenemos vinos de reserva, tenemos vinos de todas partes del mundo. No solamente somos un steakhouse, como decimos, pero también somos un wine bar.
Quiero invitarles una vez más a toda la comunidad habla hispana que nos están viendo a través de este programa, y pues anticipadamente a todas las madrecitas, para desearles de parte de Fleming's y nosotros aquí en el show de Gil García Padrón, Azteca, América y Mega TV, un feliz Día de las Madres.
Así es, feliz Día de las Madres.
Los esperamos en Fleming's. Gracias, Tony.
Por nada, gracias a ustedes.
Now, why don't you tell us the whole story right from the beginning? All right, from the beginning. This is the city, Los Angeles, California. My name's Friday. I carry a badge. Police officers.
You any idea who the other man was?
My partner's Bill Gannon.
Program?
We got just one big question.
Yeah.
When?
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
All right, in case you didn't know it, the reason that your kids are not in school today is because of that man, Martin Luther King Jr. Of course, today is, we're celebrating his birthday, and it is a national holiday. I believe one state, is Arizona still out of the mix, or do you know? I forget.
I forget.
Yeah, I forget too. But anyway, we honor him, we honor the civil rights leader and what he brought to this country back in the 1960s, of course, with many of his marches in Alabama, of course. I remember that even as a kid. I was a small kid back then. So he represented who in your mind? Did he represent only the African American community, or was he addressing all Americans, including Hispanics?
All minorities, including Hispanics, for sure, definitely.
And what was the message you heard from him?
Well, unity, for sure, and that equality, and very important. We looked up to him, like we did with John F. Kennedy, the Hispanics. He was very big for us as well.
Right.
Martin Luther King.
So
we admired him very much.
So in 40 or 45 years, have we narrowed the gap? Is it more equal now for minorities than it was back then?
There are more of us now, more minorities.
But is it more equal? Talking about equal rights.
I think so. I think gradually it has become more equal. The laws have changed for immigration now from back in the 60s when our family immigrated into this country in 63. It wasn't that difficult. 7 of us obtained our visas to come legally into this country, and now it's so very difficult. Now they're waiting for the immigration reform to be passed by Congress.
Right. Are you of the opinion that we need immigration reform?
Absolutely.
In what way?
That is my opinion. Well, just because of so many people that are here illegally, but have been here for such a long time and in different ways have contributed to the economy of this country. The majority of them, I mean, there are exceptions.
What are the issues facing the Hispanics in this day and age, in your opinion? The Hispanic community as a whole?
Probably education. Education. It's difficult because a lot of the children that were born here and their parents are undocumented, or not documented. They are having trouble when their parents are being deported, that's an important issue, education.
Do you think there's a better way for immigrants to come to this country than what's going on now?
A better way? Well, it's a process, and it has to be respected.
Right.
But it's very difficult.
Right.
It's very difficult now to come into this country through the process. It's not as easy as it was maybe 20, 30 years ago.
Right. Now, you were born in Mexico.
I was born in Matamoros, Tamaulipas,
right.
Mexico.
And what year?
The border of Brownsville, Texas.
Okay.
I was born in 54.
Okay, and you came to this country
when I was 9 years old, in 63.
And you came here with your parents?
Yes, my mom, my dad, and our 4 brothers and myself.
Was it easier back then?
Yes, absolutely.
You just crossed the border basically, and that was it.
Yes, all my dad had. We just needed to have assurance that he had a job while we were going to be here in this country. So he needed to have a letter from a business owner It was in Texas back then.
In Texas.
Yeah, in Texas.
All right.
So we had that, and then we went to Monterrey, Nuevo León, big city, and this is where we, received our green card back then, and so we've been here legally many years now. Of course, my brothers and I are citizens.
Yeah,
absolutely.
obviously,
yes.
It's after that long a period of time.
Went to
no
school
question.
here and.
Right.
And now have been working and grateful to this
Well,
country.
you say education is the biggest issue facing Hispanics right now. Does lifestyle, being involved in drugs and gangs, does that kind of fall into a lot of dropouts too?
A lot of
There's
dropouts.
A lot of dropouts. Fresno Unified has dropouts. Truancy, problem with truancy, of course, with many of the kids. Is that part of the concern as well?
Well, absolutely. There are problems as with any race, but it has affected the Latino community as well.
It has. To what degree do you think?
Like somebody doesn't like school. Well, they're either going to find a job or unfortunately for some of them, if they go a different direction, that's unfortunate.
Right.
But many kids now I see are more Latinos are going to college now than ever.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. There are more Hispanics who are educated and able to go to college, something their parents were not able to do.
That is very true, John.
And that's a positive. That's a good thing.
That's very positive.
Yeah.
We want for our children to do better than what we did.
Yeah. Hey, I do want to talk about your show. We'll do that in the next segment, but I want you, before we go to break, is give a message to some of your viewers in Spanish, if you would.
Con mucho gusto quiero agradecer a todo nuestro teleauditorio. Quiero agradecer a mi amigo John Malos del programa Connect With Me por esta invitación tan amable. Quiero agradecer a Gary Cocoa por haberme traído a la televisión el show de Gil García Padrón por 25 años. Muchas gracias, John.
Oh, thank you. We're going to be back here with our friend Gil Garcia, first-time guest here on Connect With Me on MeTV Fresno. I want to get to his show and talk about that in just a moment. 436 MeTV option 11. Back in a moment.
1 Adam 12.
This is Adam 12. It stars Martin Milner as Officer Pete Malloy, Kent McCord as Officer Jim Reed.
1 Adam 12, roger.
This black and white patrol car has an overhead valve V8 engine. It develops 325 horsepower at 4,800 RPMs. It accelerates from 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. It has a top speed of 120 miles an hour. The automobile has 2 shotgun racks, one attached to the bottom portion of the front seat, one in the vehicle trunk.
You want me to drive?
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
We're back here with our guest on the air off the presses, Gil Garcia, Padron Show, as shown on Mundo Fox Azteca Mega TV. What's your show about? What's the content?
Variety, entertainment, music videos, guests, local groups, live, international groups that come into the Fresno area. They'll do my show.
Do you have many prominent members from the Hispanic community here in Fresno join you on your show?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Like Sal Quintero has been here several times, of course.
He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, good friend. And now he's been a guest on your show?
Yeah, I've done interviews with Sal.
Yeah, he's a good man.
He is.
Yeah,
He's done a lot
so
for the community.
do you tackle issues, or is it more variety?
It's more variety.
Is it really?
It's more variety, but I do get involved tremendously with the community,
Right.
especially with immigration issues and.
That's very dear to your heart because you are an immigrant,
Absolutely.
like many.
Yes.
Like most of us here in this country.
Yes, I am an immigrant.
Yeah, and very proud of it, and we are proud of
And
you
love
too.
this country. Love
Yeah.
this country, America.
Absolutely.
It's given
Listen,
us,
I want to put some photos up on the screen before we run out of time, and you can explain who these people are. We'll just put them on one at a time, and you can explain. Put the first one up there, and who are we looking at here? I recognize that face, and I know I'm going to recognize the name. Go ahead.
Edwards James Olmos. Yeah,
right.
he was in the Selena movie. He was the father of Selena. And he also did the movie about Garfield High School in L.A.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
I forget the name of it now.
Now, where was this photo taken?
This was taken here in Fresno.
Okay.
He came to Fresno and...
Was he on your show?
No, I just met him and did an interview with him.
Oh, that's
for my
good.
show, where he was at. Yeah.
Okay. Next one. Who is this now?
Selena. She's the Tex-Mex queen, and she was just getting ready to do her crossover into the English. Did one album, and she was shot to death in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Yep.
There was a movie made of her with Jennifer Lopez, the star. Yeah,
I do remember
and
that.
she used to do my show every year.
Yeah. All right, another photo here, Gil.
Araceli Arámbula, she's Mexico's most popular soap opera star.
Okay.
Was married to Luis Miguel, which is one of the most well-known singers out of Mexico worldwide. And she was here in Fresno in a promotion we had with Outer World, a company that I represented for many years, a car business.
Okay. And then,
Shadow, yeah. I did an interview with Shadow. This was in Hawaii.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was in Hawaii, and I introduced myself.
Look at that. You've got your arm around her waist there, Gil. What's up with that,
We were having fun.
Looks like you were getting a little frisky there, huh?
Maybe she was.
When was that photo taken? What year?
That must have been probably about 15 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, in Hawaii.
Yeah, she's still, I mean, at that time, I don't know what she looks like now. She was still looking pretty good, huh?
She's still looking great. I saw her for a New Year's special just recently.
Yeah, still going strong. What's she in her 70s, obviously, right?
Yeah, early 70s.
Early 70s, yeah. So, you going to keep going? Another 25?
Yeah, why not?
You can do it?
I think so.
So mainly you have, this is a variety show. You go out and do interviews. Mm-hmm. You come back, you have a band. Maybe as a guest, band members as perhaps guests.
Yeah, and most of the groups now are coming out with videos. So we get those videos and we play it for them. If we can do the interview, that's just to back it up. That is great. And we have our studios at my house. That's where we have our studios. My wife is the producer of the show.
She's the executive producer of the show, probably.
Yes, she does the...
You take your commands from her, I assume, right?
That is correct.
All right. You know what I'm going to do here? Something a little different. We got 10 seconds. You close out the show. Say goodbye to our viewers.
Thank you for being here with us on the show with John Malos. Connect with me, Gil Garcia Padron. Till next time.
And in Spanish.
Les quiero agradecer por haber estado con nosotros en el show de John Malos. Connect with me, Gil Garcia Padrón. Hasta la próxima.
All right.
Muchas gracias.
Come back again.
Pleasure.
All right. Gil Garcia.
Thank you for having me.
From the Gil Garcia El Padrón show on Mundo Fox Azteca and Mega TV. That's going to do it for us. Whoops. Want to do this or this? Okay. Anyway, we're back tomorrow with another edition of Connect with Me. See you then.
Like me?
Just like me.
Like MeTV Fresno on Facebook. Get the latest news, interact with others, watch videos, become a fan of me.
Just about every morning, in just about every city and town across this great land, there are those who head to work early and get home late. They're the independent dealers of North America. Their priorities come from Main Street, not Wall Street. They work in showrooms and warehouses, not glass buildings or ivory towers. Their customers have names, not numbers, and their family's name might even be on the building. Their independence. They provide jobs, invest in their communities, pay taxes, and serve their neighbors. Their independence. With hard work, good judgment, and a little help from above, they're able to carve a living out of a storefront, some inventory, and their most valuable assets, their customers. Their independence. There was a time not that long ago when the MBAs, the consultants, and even a few suppliers had written them off. Surely the corporate giants with their massive resources and billions in sales would snuff out the independent flame. But those guys don't make the rules. Customers do. Now it's becoming clear. There's a change in the air. A realization that customers are demanding more. Who can deliver quality? Where did service and advice go? What happened to trust? Well, it's been right here all along. In every delivery and every handshake at each of the thousands of independent dealers of the Nationwide Marketing Group and its divisions. Working together to buy better, sell smarter, and compete tougher. So think outside the big box. Think independent and save. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.